From the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the News 8 Daily 8.
Now, the latest news.
Kylie Conway has the latest news. The top headlines. News you can use.
Please stand by.
Sponsored by LCS Heating and Cooling. Now, here's Wish TV's Kylie Conway.
Hi, this is Kylie Conway, and this is the News 8 Daily for Wednesday, July 21st. Seasonable weather once again for our Wednesday, expecting a mostly sunny day, quiet again, with highs into the low to mid 80s. This morning, we were following breaking news on Daybreak. Police say that a Noblesville police officer shot a man early this morning. It happened just before 5:30 near 5th and Walnut. Officers say they were called to a home, but then got no response when they got there. Then they say they heard some yelling outside and then saw a man and his girlfriend walking back to the house, which ultimately ended with the shooting. The person shot was taken to Methodist Hospital. No officers were hurt. Still working to learn a lot more information about this. Two more overnight shootings. Police are trying to figure out if they're connected. IMPD tells us that just before 1 this morning, somebody found a man dead in front of a home on Nimitz Drive. That's in a neighborhood just off of 21st and Arlington. After that, someone showed up wounded at Community East Hospital. That's about a mile away. Police are working to find out the condition of that person, and police are not releasing any specifics in either case, but they do say that they think the shootings may be linked. Indianapolis Public Schools will require masks in the new school year for some students and staff. The district turned to national organizations in creating the new policy. This fall, unvaccinated students and staff should continue to wear masks, but vaccinated students are exempt. This follows the CDC's recommendation that we've seen in many shopping centers and restaurants. There are a few exceptions. No one ever has to wear a mask outside, regardless of their vaccination status, but all students are required to wear masks on the bus to and from school. That follows the TSA requirements that many of us have experienced on flights. Also, all visitors must wear masks at all times. We spoke with former Surgeon General and Wish TV medical expert Dr. Jerome Adams about masks in schools and why some are still requiring them.
But what people need to remember is last year when kids were in school, they were mostly masked up. They were socially distanced. There were a lot fewer people in school, and we didn't have a Delta variant that is 4 times as likely to be passed along. So different environment this year.
He added requiring masks sends a message home to vaccinate children, drive up immunity, and drive down community transmission rate. As for proof of vaccines, IPS, as students and staff who are vaccinated and want to stop wearing masks, can voluntarily submit proof of vaccination for clearance. No word on how the mask policy will be enforced, if at all. Purdue University says 60% of its students and 66% of its employees are fully vaccinated. The school's new data shows vaccination at Purdue are nearly 2 times higher than statewide rates in the same age group. As of this morning, the state health department reports across all of Indiana, 35% of people 20 to 24 years old have gotten both shots. Purdue is encouraging all students and faculty to get vaccinated if they can. Those who do not get vaccinated must go through routine testing. And the U.S. is renewing its public health emergency for another 90 days. The decision comes as we're seeing a dramatic increase of cases of the Delta variant of COVID-19. New data from the CDC finds that the variant now makes up more than 80% of all new COVID-19 cases in the U.S. That startling statistic has health officials like Dr. Anthony Fauci issuing this warning.
It has the capability of transmitting efficiently from human to human in an extraordinary manner, well beyond any of the other variants that we've experienced up to now.
And this morning, there is an urgent push to get more people vaccinated. According to the CDC, 97% of hospitalized patients and more than 99% of deaths are among those unvaccinated. And new data shows the Johnson & Johnson shot may be less effective against some variants. A lab in New York posted findings from its study online yesterday, showing the J&J shot to be less protective against the Delta and Lambda variants. The lab suggests the benefit of getting a booster shot. Health officials are still debating whether and when to recommend those second doses. And health officials are warning of long-term effects from the pandemic. New numbers from the CDC show life expectancy is down 1.5 years in the U.S. They say the coronavirus is mainly to blame. The CDC estimates people born in 2020 will live just over 77 years on average. The center says the projected lifespan is lower for men than women. And the CDC says more than 1.5 million children have lost at least one family caregiver during the pandemic. The numbers are from a new study in the journal Lancet. The CDC defines the losses as parents, grandparents who have primary custody, and secondary caregivers like grandparents or other relatives who live in the family home. Another emerging problem is the long-term effects some survivors must deal with. We spoke with a doctor in Indianapolis about it.
Not necessarily needing hospitalization, but maybe causing disability, maybe causing a long-term issue where people can't work or can't work the way they used to. We truly don't know. But we're talking about a significant added burden to the healthcare system and potentially a labor shortage.
According to a paper published in the New England Journal of Medicine, the average age of someone experiencing long-haul symptoms is 40. A tenant at a troubled local apartment complex says it needs new owners now. Indiana's Attorney General Todd Rokita is suing the companies that manage the Lakeside Point and the Fox Club over dangerous and unlawful living conditions. The suit says people who live there have had to deal with fires, a lack of heating and air conditioning, water damage, mold, and other problems. News 8 spoke to a couple that rents a unit at Lakeside. They asked us not to say their names.
It could be a nice apartment complex, like it's in a nice area. It's just the people that are running it now, they need to go.
Rokita wants a court-appointed receiver to take control of the finances and direction of the complexes. The tenants we spoke to say that's a step in the right direction. And today, a procedural vote on a bipartisan infrastructure bill in the Senate. Republicans in the chamber are expected to block the $1.2 trillion proposal. Some Republicans wrote a letter to Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer asking to postpone today's vote. They want him to wait until a bipartisan agreement can be reached on the bill and then it can be written. Lawmakers say even if the vote fails today, negotiations on the measure are expected to continue. And this morning, a former advisor to former President Donald Trump is under arrest. Tom Barrack is facing charges of illegal foreign lobbying, obstructing justice, and lying to investigators. Barrack was the chairman of the inaugural committee for former President Trump. He and two other men are accused of working improperly on behalf of the United Arab Emirates to influence public opinion and foreign policy during the 2016 presidential campaign. Prosecutors say a Trump speech from May of 2016 reflects Barrack's efforts.
Work with our Gulf allies to develop a positive energy relationship.
Barrack is scheduled to be in court Monday. Crews are working around the clock to contain the largest fire in the nation. It has already scorched nearly 500,000 acres. That's about half the size of Rhode Island. The Bootleg fire in Oregon is so intense that its smoke is taking over the skies all across the country, including here in Indiana. Here's Oregon Governor Kate Brown.
Right now, this is the fourth largest fire to burn in Oregon since 1900. And the weather conditions, windy and dry with lightning, are truly problematic.
As of this morning, the Bootleg fire is about 30% contained. It is just one of 80 wildfires burning in 13 states. Vigo County, Indiana, is the first place in our state where West Nile has been detected this year. The state health department announced the virus was found in one mosquito sample. So far, there are no human cases. The health department does expect to see more activity throughout the summer, though, so officials recommend avoiding being outdoors when mosquitoes are active, using insect repellent, and covering exposed skin. The Milwaukee Bucks are waking up champions this morning. The Bucks beat the Phoenix Suns last night 105-98. This makes them NBA champs for the first time in 50 years. Finals MVP Giannis Antetokounmpo says getting to the finals has been a long road.
I started playing basketball just to, help my family, try to get them out of the struggle, the challenges we were facing when we were kids. But man, I never thought, I'm going to be 26 years old, with my team, playing the NBA finals, just playing.
More than 65,000 fans packed the area outside the arena to watch the game. The fans went crazy as soon as the clock hit zero.
When they have
The Indiana Pacers are congratulating their division opponents. The team shared a picture of Justin and Aaron Holiday with their brother Drew, who is the Bucks starting point guard, with the caption, "It's a brotherhood." America suffers a stunner in the Olympics. This morning, Sweden crushed the U.S. women's soccer team 3-0. It's a truly shocking result. America came in with a 44-game winning streak. The U.S. women play New Zealand on Saturday. And Australia lands a future Olympics. The International Olympic Committee announced this morning that Brisbane will host the Games in 2032. No other cities entered a bid to host the Games that year because they weren't allowed to. Earlier this year, the IOC named Brisbane its preferred host city and shut all others out of the process. Ahead of Brisbane's Games, Paris is set to host in 2024, and Los Angeles has the Games in 2028. Olympic organizers are not ruling out a last-minute cancellation of the Summer Games in Tokyo. The CEO of the Olympics says he's monitoring the rise in COVID-19 cases and will make a decision based on the current situation. Athletes are in Tokyo right now. Yesterday, the city reported 1,387 new cases. According to the Tokyo government website, that's the city's second highest daily increase of new coronavirus cases since January. As of this morning, 71 athletes and officials have tested positive for the virus. The Summer Games are scheduled to begin Friday. Back here at home, ITMate is looking into the state's claims in a new court appeal to stop the expanded pandemic unemployment payments. ITMate's Jasmine Miner looks at Governor Holcomb's contention that resuming the payments is hurting the state's economy.
Well, those who couldn't find a job or lost their job due to the pandemic just started again receiving that $300 a week, but it could soon disappear because Governor Eric Holcomb says it's keeping people from trying to find a job. In fact, the state's appeal says the governor acted perfectly on this. It says he made the quintessential policy determination that federal benefits were doing more harm than good. It goes on to argue the group suing the state is fighting for their own private interests about the public's in recovering from the pandemic. Governor Holcomb is staying firm that while the $300 a week was vital to keeping Hoosiers afloat during the pandemic, it's now what is demotivating them. This is what the governor said right before he ended pandemic unemployment.
If they're eligible for unemployment benefits, they're eligible to work, correct? And so we want to help them skill up in a different profession if theirs is gone, right? They chose to chart their own course. We want to make sure they know there's an abundance of opportunity out there now in this new economy.
The appeal also says Indiana law does not require participation in pandemic unemployment benefits programs. There is currently no timetable for when the Court of Appeals is going to make a ruling, although it has agreed to an expedited review. I'm Jasmine Miner for Wish TV, wishtv.com. Don't forget to give us a follow on Facebook.
And our I-Team wants to hear your story if you've been ordered to repay or are still trying to get unemployment benefits. We have a form you can fill out on wishtv.com. You can get there through your phone or through your desktop and then look for our coverage under the As Seen on Wish TV section. And there's an expansion to a local addiction and recovery house driven by an alarming rise in calls for help. We're talking about Dove Recovery's new outreach center for women. Normally, Dove Recovery House has between 20 and 30 women on their wait list. Right now, there are 85 women. The Dove House Outreach Center will help women who are currently waiting for a bed. And the best part is services will stay free. Here's Aaliyah Hodges reporting.
The way the Outreach Center will touch these ladies is just, it's exponential and it's awesome.
Meet Christy Sheen, a former resident at Dove House Recovery. She spent 17 months before living an independent and healthy life.
I struggled with addiction for 7 years. I lived in several rehabs, all over the city of Indianapolis, even in another county up north.
Christy is now a peer recovery specialist, helping other women in recovery. Christy credits a large part of her journey to the love and care she received at Dove House.
It's very satisfying to watch them grow and thrive. It can be very challenging. They don't always agree with everything that we suggest. They can give pushback because they are trying to find their way.
The new outreach center is just down the street from Dove Recovery House on 34th and Meridian. It's a place women can receive daytime services like individual and group therapy, life skills, and learning to build healthy relationships.
We've seen overdose rates skyrocket since before COVID, and deaths from overdose skyrocket as well. And so we knew there was a sense of urgency.
While they're still living possibly in a dangerous environment, to offer them resources, possibly to get out of that environment so that before they get to Dove House, they are already safe.
Dove Recovery says it's the largest women's treatment program in the state and will continue to break the stigma surrounding addiction.
You know, our motto is that we love on them until they can love themselves. And we truly want to inspire and lift them up and help the women become the women they're meant to be.
Dove Recovery says in Indiana, overdose rates are up 80% and deaths are up 50% since the pandemic. Reporting, I'm Aaliyah Hodges for Wish TV, wishtv.com, and follow us on Facebook.
A new hotspot has landed Indianapolis high praise. Time magazine calls Indianapolis one of the world's greatest places. This is the third year the publication has compiled a list of the 100 best places around the globe. In praising Indianapolis, it specifically features the Bottleworks District, the Bottleworks Hotel, Garage Food Hall, and Theater. The 4th annual Indie Shorts International Film Fest is underway. It promises 201 movies with 33 themes, including comedy, sci-fi, animals, and sports. This year's festival offers indoor screenings at the Bottleworks District or outdoor viewings at the Indianapolis Arts Center and Indy Fringe. We checked overnight, and you can still buy some passes. The event runs through Sunday. This has been your News 8 Daily 8 for Wish TV. I'm Kylie Conway. Online at wishtv.com and follow us on Facebook when you search Wish TV.
The News 8 Daily 8 is sponsored by LCS Heating and Cooling. Be sure to like and subscribe to this podcast, The News 8 Daily 8 with Kylie Conway. And be sure to discover even more great podcasts now at allindianapodcastnetwork.com.